The agricultural sector has been going through a lot of innovations and inventions. People have ventured into forms of farming that in the past, no one would have thought that they would be beneficial ventures. On this edition of Kilimo Bora, we are joined by one Mr. Chuku, who will be talking to us about pig farming. Welcome. So this is only a pen for one pig?
Yeah, it's a pen for one pig.
Pigs, so pigs are supposed to say one pen per pig?
Yeah, depends on what you're doing. If you're doing breeding, one mother, one pen.
One mother, one pen?
Yeah, one mother or a sow to a pen. Because when it farrows or when it gives birth, until you wean it from the piglet, it needs to be there with the children alone.
How did you start pig farming and why did you start pig farming?
I told my father I wanted to do agriculture. He said no. If I would do agriculture, I should pay my own fees. So I decided to follow him. He asked me to do business accounting, which I did. And then, going to the university, you cannot do business accounting and go do agriculture. So I had to continue the business course. At that time, he had gotten me a job at EcoBank Transnational. Yeah, but I told him that I want to be a farmer. So I decided to look for where I can get support in agriculture so that I will start moving from seminar to seminar. And then finally, I got to a seminar, spoke with one of the speakers, and they directed me to a place called CoELIB.
People think that pigs
it's a dirty job.
Dirty.
It's true.
Pigs eat everything. Is it true?
The pigs eat everything you give them. But the fact is that as a businessman, you don't give it anything because you are looking for market for your product. The animal is supposed to convert feed fast to be ready for the market within the shortest possible time. And therefore, if you want to give it anything, like they always say, you garbage in, garbage out. But if you give it proper food, proper feed, concentrate, it converts it faster, it grows faster, and then you sell to the market. Finally, I got to a seminar, spoke with one of the speakers, and they directed me to a place called CoELIB. CoELIB is actually an organization that they do mentoring, they do consulting, and one of their core mandates is also to support graduates who want to go into agriculture, irrespective of what you studied in the university, which I did, which meant that by virtue of the fact that I studied finance or banking does not limit me. So I went there and they asked me when do I want to start? And I told them I can start now. I want to start now. They said, okay. So I started the training. It was a 6-month course. And during the training, you submit your proposal to them, which I did. And they supported me after the 6-month training. So they gave me actually $10,000.
Why did you decide to rear a pig?
I decided to go into pigs because I saw that one, the demand for pig in Ghana is very high, and it will be very lucrative if you invest in it. Two, the pig converts feed to the feed conversion ratio of a pig is double the ruminant. Yeah, and then another thing is that if you really observe the normal practices of pig rearing, you won't have any problem and your pigs will grow the way you want it without recording any mortality rate or anything of that sort. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the industry. You have been in Kenya, you have seen what we do, you have seen our structures, and you have also visited some farms, I bet, to understand, right?
Yeah.
So, is the pig rearing practices in Kenya the same as the pig rearing practices in Ghana?
Well, it's almost, but then so far, with the farms I've visited, quite a number of them are doing very well.
Wow.
They are doing very well because a farm, for instance, like Juan packaging farms I went, so far it's the best pig farm I've seen.
Wow.
I'm here to see another one better than that.
Wow.
But so far it's the best. They're doing very well. The way they feed animals, the medication, the way they wean the animals, the time, it's excellent, you know.
And we use what do you call it? The waste from cattle and goats can be used as manure. Is it the same case for pigs? Can it be used as manure?
Yes, the waste from piggery can be used for manure.
Wow.
All you need to do is to dry it.
Dry.
Let it dry, let it decompose, and then it's good for use.
Okay. Now great. Now let us just get into the logistics now.
Okay.
You have your pig. You have purchased maybe 1 or 2 pigs as a farmer.
Okay.
Now tell me, how long does it take for that pig to start paying you as a farmer?
Depending on what you're doing, whether you are doing breeding or fattening. But if you are doing breeding, it will take you, depending on the weight of the pig is supposed to be at least 100 kilograms. If you want to get the best out of that pig,
wow,
it should be 100 kilograms before you cross it. And then when you cross it, it will take you 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. That's basically 4 months for the pig to give birth. It gives birth, and then it takes you 6 weeks to say to wean the animals. So 6 weeks in addition to 4 months. That's like roughly 5 months and 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when you wean it, you decide whether you sell as a piglet or you sell it. You continue to fatten it for the next 4 months till you sell. Now, if you are doing fattening and then you bring the pig, what you do is that you just give the animal at that stage. For instance, if you bought the pig as a weaner, you start giving it that feed, winner's feed. It goes to the grower, it goes to the finisher, and then you sell. So as at the time it will be ready, that should be 5 months, and that should give you a minimum of 120 kilograms, and you sell, and then that's where you make your money.
So I can see that it takes pretty much a very short time to start getting benefits from the pigs.
Yes.
So tell us about the feeding, and tell us, is it expensive to keep a pig?
Yeah, to some extent. It's expensive because in pig production, for instance, feed costs, say, it costs 60 to 70% of the feed of the cost of production. Yeah, so it's quite expensive. But I assure you, no matter how much you spend on the pig, when it's time you sell it, you get double the price. That's
you
one.
Get once, no matter how much you spend. Once you sell your pig, you will get
double the price. Provided you didn't feed the pig with junk. You fed it with feed proper
food.
Yeah, that one is you are going to reap your benefits.
Wow. Tell us about pests and diseases. Are pigs infected by any kinds of diseases, or do they need any kind of vaccination? And are there specialists who deal with pigs?
Okay, there is. You need a veterinary doctor, but then with the training I had in CoELIB, I had my own. I was taught all those things, so I don't need the assistance of the veterinarian to help me. I do everything I have to do. And they are affected by certain diseases depending on how clean the place is.
Wow, so cleanliness is very key when it comes to pig rearing.
It's very, very pivotal.
Wow.
Because if you don't clean the place, it develops, what do you call it, bacteria, and it affects the pigs, and all of a sudden you see that they are strong, but they start dying.
What is the key? What was that thing that happened in your life and then things started going well for you?
Okay, the last seminar I went, I met someone, a speaker, and I spoke with him. I told him I want to do agriculture, and he asked me whether I studied crop science or animal science, and I said no, I didn't do any of those. So he was like surprised. He said, what did I do? And I told him I did finance and banking. He said, okay, if I want to do agriculture, then you help me. So he linked me to a certain organization called CoELIB, Creating Champions in Livestock Entrepreneur Agribusiness. So he asked me to go there, see the operations manager, and tell her that he sent me. So I went there, I started the training. So when I started the training, it was a 6-month rigorous on-hand training. Yeah. And when I went there were 25 people that are already there. They have not been employed, they have not been supported. Not because the organization does not want to support, but they were not serious enough. Yeah, so I started, and God being so good, I was the first person to be supported.
Wow.
Yeah, of the 26th. I was supported, and that's how I submitted my proposal, and they viewed it, and then they helped me. They gave me their support. And I went to put up the structures, and then I bought the feed and the animals, and that's how I'm in operation. I will advise my fellow youths or graduates that they should enter into pig farming. It pays a lot. Okay. With pig farming, it has 3 pillars, and those pillars are the sanitation, the medication, the feed, and the type of breed. It's very, very necessary. If you have these things at your fingertips, I think you should be on top of your game. Always, your farm must be clean. Your sty, the pig sty, you should clean at least twice a day. You should change your water. You should feed them with the requisite feed. Ideally, a pig is supposed to put up a minimum of 0.9 kilograms of weight per day if it's fed with the requisite feed. Now, if you do the medications well, for instance, when you give birth to a pig today, if it's farrows, the sow farrows right now, you should 3 days time, you should give the pig iron injection. You should detooth the pig. You should also cut the tail for identification. That one is optional. But ironing and detoothing is very, very necessary. 3 weeks after the 3 days, you must also give it another iron injection. Now, some people do it 40 days, but ideally 6 weeks after, you should wean the pig from its mother. And weaning the pig, you pick out the mother from the piglet, so that you don't stress the children, the piglet. So weaning it, you must give it a booster. You must give it what do you call it? You must give it ivermectin, which is to deworm the pig. You must also give it multivite. Yeah. Now, before the pig is weaned, you must give it one feed that is called creep feed. That creep feed is what the pig is supposed to eat after 2 weeks. When the pig is born, you start feeding 2 weeks on creep feed. Now you give it creep feed. When you wean it, you start giving it winner's feed, and that's at that point in time the pig should eat a minimum of 50 kilograms of feed, 50 grams of feed. Now with 50 grams, what happens is that after every 6 days you must increase it, double it. So you keep doubling it until it's 3 months. Then by that time it should be around 900 grams to 1 kilogram. So when you move from the winner stage, that's 3 month time, you must give it another feed that's called grower's feed. Yeah, that one too, you start taking a minimum of 1.2 kilograms to 1.5 to 1.7, depending on how you increase it. But at the winner stage, you should feed it ad libitum. Ad libitum means that without restriction, there should always be feed in the system for the piglet to always eat. Then the feed must be rich in fish, must be rich in soybeans. Yeah, and then there are other agro products like the lysine, the methionine, the toxin binder, the oyster shell, salts, and all that must be in it proportionally, so that the pig can grow as fast as possible. Yes, and that is the time you're supposed to also have a good immune system.
It has been so much fun talking to this guy who has taught us so much about pig farming and how to take care of the pig. And also, he has told us that pig farming is the next big thing. Pig farming is the way to go, and that is what you're supposed to be thinking as a farmer or as a graduate out there. I have been your host, Emily Mbai, and until next time, I will say God bless.